Hi everyone, I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm not, I've been harassed today, I've been targeted, but it's fine that they're affecting my mental and physical health. But like I said, this will be coming out, I will be going to the papers and I will be giving video evidence of over 3 years of harassment by my neighbours and how the police have allowed it to be covered up. I'd highly recommend going back on videos, but basically these videos about the police abuse of power, the police neglect, the police how they've allowed the neighbours to do criminal damage, target me, stalk me, harass me, film me, criminally damage things, stand outside my house, belittle me, call me names, pull faces at my cameras, trap me in the house and much more. They've made my life a living hell for over 8 years. But it's been non-stop for over 3 years. I can't live my life the way I want to. I'm physically and mentally drained. Like, I'm really unwell now. I've had some targeting today and it's actually physically affected me and I'm not feeling great. But as I said, I will expose what the police have done to me. So you would have seen some videos where basically Inspector Scott Boast lied and put me in a situation that caused me severe distress, where PC Harry Stainton and PC Lisa Morgan came to my house and basically didn't leave and had me so distressed I didn't know what to do with myself. It affected my mood for weeks afterwards. I'm scared of Harry Stainton. He's a big police officer, he's about 6'6", he's very intimidating. There is a video on here, if you scroll right down, where he came into my house, he bullied his way to my house, he lied to me why he was coming. And then he basically had me fearing for my life because he's a big copper and he wouldn't leave. I had to repeatedly ask him to get out. They almost let my dog out, who is a husky and is an escape artist and won't come back. Then PC Stainton did lie about me further, which again I will prove in upcoming videos. The police have basically put me in this position where I've got to expose all the lies and the bullying and the way they've made me suicidal or tried to take my life because of them. They've been highly complicit in allowing my neighbours to commit crime against me, refusing to deal with it, refusing to do the proper thing. There's things they've done they should be arrested on instantly, like as soon as I've given a statement. They're refusing to do that. They're not charging them with anything, which is basically encouraging them to carry on, and they're carrying on and doing worse things. I could have 20 witnesses and CCTV evidence and the police basically won't do anything about it. Doing these videos is causing me a lot of distress, because I'm having to relive what's gone on to expose what the police have done and what the police put me through and what the police have allowed to happen to me, but also because we're of the belief that the police are basically going to come and arrest me for telling the truth. Now, this is how ridiculous it is with the police. They will literally arrest me for telling the truth about them, so we fully expect that to happen. And that's why the videos that have been pre-recorded and pre-scheduled, because they are going to go up, and the only way that these videos will ever be stopped is if the police apologise, the individual officers apologise, compensate me for what they've caused me, and also deal with the crime against me. That's the only way I will stop these videos, which we all know they're not going to do anything. They won't admit that they're wrong. They won't apologise to me. They're happy to stress me out, cause me severe distress, affect my mental health, affect my life. They've ruined my life along with my neighbours, the police have. So this video is about Scott Boast, Inspector Scott Boast. 1247 is his caller number. So videos did go up. You can hear me talking to them and outside Harry Stainton and Lisa Morgan, and they wouldn't leave. They put me in a situation where I was highly distressed. It was very unprofessional of them. It was very bullying. Really what they should have done have said, if you're obviously not going to let us in, we're going to go. But instead they stood there calling me a liar. Harry Stainton said I was chatting shit. They put me under pressure. They embarrassed me in front of the neighbours. They made me look like an absolute idiot. And like I said, I do get targeted by the neighbours when the police come to my house. There actually was an incident the following day which Harry Stainton said, oh, let's not do anything about it. Let's just keep it so we can use it further down the line. And he never used what they did, even though they caused me distress. They criminally damaged things. They all ganged up on me. They all thought it was funny. Again, I still have the video evidence of that. If anyone from the media want to contact me, please email the email address down below. I have talked to a couple of you and I am weighing up my options regarding what I'm going to do. Obviously, some of you just want certain things. Some of you want other things. I'm not willing to talk to anyone who doesn't want the whole story about the harassment. I can give you absolutely everything you need, the evidence, my crime reports, the police doing what they're doing. You can have it all. So this video is about a cover up from unprofessional standards. So I'd put in complaints, like I've said in other videos, and basically professional standards with part of a report, because you can't put enough information on the report because they don't want you to put a full report in. There also isn't an area for you to submit any evidence, because again, they don't want you to submit evidence. So they basically investigated reports without actually talking to me and getting the full story, which you'll find when I start reading out bits of the report. It's basically not how I worded it, and I can prove how I worded it. They've worded it how they want to word it to make it sound the way they want to make it sound. They speak to the police officers involved without actually getting the full story, so obviously they can't then do a proper investigation. They're just doing an investigation to make it look like they're trying to do an investigation, but they're actually wording it in the wrong way from the little bit of information that you're allowed to give without actually speaking to me to get the full story. They're then getting the police officers to put their lies together, because it is lies, you'll find out, as I've been proving with Kate Kennedy and other ones. I don't know what's gone up yet. I know the Kate Kennedy one will probably go up before this one, because I know when it's scheduled and I know when I've next got a gap. You'll see that they do cover up, they do tell lies, and the professional standards will make you, the complainee, look out to be the one in the wrong when you're like I'm having to prove it. Mary always said that the police basically target vulnerable adults like me and try to criminalise us, so they'll basically let crime after crime after crime happen. They'll mess with our mental health, they'll allow the crime to happen, they'll help the people doing it, they won't do anything about it, and then they'll just target the victim, which is me, a vulnerable adult. And everything I'm saying I believe to be true. So this is the complaint, or in their words, from professional standards, who basically refused to allow me to give evidence. They didn't give me any time to submit the evidence. They had already obviously pre-written the report, spoke to me briefly after they put the report together, put a few ad-libs in from what I'd said during the conversation, and again misquoted me quite badly. And again, Simon Gray, I did record the conversation, and then they sent this report out, which would have took days to write. So they basically, it proves that they wrote it before actually speaking to me. So it says, you allege Inspector 1247 Boast has been bullying you. That's their words. To answer this point of complaint, I refer to the account provided by Inspector Boast. On the 9th of July 2021, you contacted the FCR, which is the Force Control Room, which they shouldn't abbreviate, because there is no way in here where there's the abbreviations. You have to work them out yourself, which I think is highly unprofessional, but I think we're finding what the cover-up is regarding professional standards. To raise a complaint about Inspector Boast saying he'd been bullying you. In the report, you stated you were having problems with the neighbours and you felt the neighbourhood policing team, NPT again, abbreviating it to be difficult, were not helping you, so you made a complaint against Sergeant Scorer, where Inspector Boast kept shouting at you and calling you a liar. I mean, they're bringing up Sergeant Scorer here. How can I make a complaint about Sergeant Scorer where Inspector Boast kept complaining and shouting at you and calling you a liar? So here, they've already made another mistake in it, because it doesn't even make sense. I didn't make a complaint to Sergeant Scorer about Scott Boast. They actually made a complaint on the complaints thing where they won't let you put enough words in because they don't want your full complaint. You advised the call handler. So now they're going on about a call handler all of a sudden, even though apparently I told Lisa Scorer. You advised the call handler that you got so upset with Inspector Boast, you made threats to commit suicide, which you ignored. It's true, I've got the recording. It's in that recording that if you watch the videos where he sent Harry Stainton to the house with Lisa Morgan, and they both attacked me outside, calling me a liar and saying that Scott Boast had told me that they were both attending, when I've put the evidence in the second or third video, whichever it was, where I think it's the second video where Scott Boast says, what time do you want him to come, etc. So he just alluded to the fact it was Harry, and then they put me through all that stress where they were basically stood outside calling me a liar. Lisa was patronising me, talking to me like I was stupid. I made a joke about the Queen, and then she kept calling me a royalist, and she wouldn't believe me when I said I wasn't. You stated you were unhappy officers were turning up double crewed when you reported incidents, and they had called you a liar too. They did call me a liar. If we go back to the videos where it says about Harry Stainton, PC Stainton, PC Morgan and Scott Boast, you'll see that he is calling me a liar outside, and that you recorded all the conversations you were going to upload them to your YouTube site. Well, I have done that. In your email... Oh, they're now going on... See, they're going on about Chief Inspector Rides now, so I will leave that bit out. But... Oh, actually, I'll read it. In your email to Chief Inspector Rides on the 7th of August 2021, and I do have these emails in unprofessional standards, you stated PC Stainton put you under a lot of pressure based on what Inspector Boast said about you. See, you can hear in the video, I am really distressed. I'm on the stairs. I'm refusing to let them in because from day one, as I said in that video, that it had been arranged with Sergeant Sean Pearson that it would only be one police officer that came to my house due to how I felt. I have severe anxiety surrounding the police, which the police are aware of because my doctor has wrote to them, and I do actually have that on my phone. I can prove it, and I can prove that they've had the letter. I know who actually gave them the letter, hand delivered the letter to them, and they know that I felt uncomfortable about having anyone at all in my house because at that point I'd had months of harassment by the neighbours and they'd made me feel very nervous. I felt uncomfortable about being around anyone because of the effect that the neighbours had on me. So it was arranged from day one that it would only be one officer attending. And if Sean Pearson wants to start lying, I can bring the receipts. You stated Inspector Boast had a massive effect on your mental health and was still affecting you by what he was saying. You found the fact he was still allowed anything to do with things involving you highly wrong and concerning, as he was completely unprofessional and a liar. Well, he did lie. As I proved in those videos, he said that what time do you want him to come? What day do you want him to come? Him as in Harry, and we discussed Harry during the conversation. Now, the main reason I can't put that whole video conversation in a video is because during the conversation at countless times I mentioned people by the names, people that are not police officers, so I can't upload that video. Now, if this lie continues from Inspector Scott Boast and the unprofessional standards, I will edit that video where I take out people's names and leave the rest in it where he is bullying me, stressing me out, won't answer my questions, getting me more and more worked out, and I do threaten to commit suicide, and he carries on winding me up. That is unprofessional. He was bullying towards me, and he did call me a liar because he said that he told me on the phone that he told me that there were 2 police officers attending. Harry Stainton then stood outside with Lisa Morgan, again calling me a liar, and then when I obviously wouldn't take the fact that I was being called a liar, he then worded it as a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, which again, I'm not stupid, I did not misunderstanding, and they stood outside and put me under immense pressure. I was stressed out, I was shaking, I felt sick, I felt utterly embarrassed because they were making a fool out of me by standing out there acting like that. Instead of saying like, she's not going to talk to us, maybe we should go away and maybe phone us so there's no one watching us and listening in, they decided to put me under half an hour of severe pressure that left me so stressed out I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt panicked all day, I was on edge, I had a migraine, I felt physically sick. I was really upset for days and days and days after that, and like I said, I did get targeted massively the next day, which meant Harry had to attend again, and he brought someone, which was never the agreement, and they put me under pressure and stress. I felt intimidated by there being a second one here. Now, the other reason 2 of them got in the house was because my dad was here. But even when they turned up, the neighbours rushed up behind him, so they tried to look in the house because they thought it would be me answering the door, and they'd spent months trying to see me up until that point. And that's another reason why I was nervous about being around anyone, because the neighbours who had never seen me made this big deal about trying to see me, and it made me highly uncomfortable. So, you know, putting me under that situation, which Harry was fully aware of my nervousness about around being around people because of how I'd been treated for over 3 months by that point by a group of neighbours who had never seen nor spoken to me. You advised Chief Inspector Rides that Inspector Boast called you a liar. Well, he did. You stated Inspector Boast's malicious comments were affecting your mood and made you wish you feel you were dead at times. Well, that's true. I've spoke about it. I'm open and honest about my mental health because I've always been told by my doctor to be so. Because I used to get told that you're not meant to tell people how you're feeling and you're supposed to just carry on, and everyone like feels these things and people don't talk about them. And not talking about how I feel affected me because I was holding it in, and it made me worse and worse and worse, and I thought I couldn't talk about it, and I wouldn't. And it took my doctor years to get me to start to open up about it. So Inspector Boast did affect my mood. He affected, you can hear it on the phone call, which I am going to edit out the stuff that I can't keep in where I'm talking about other people, and I will play the entire video. You can hear me getting more and more stressed out. You can hear it in my voice. I'm getting like really worked up, and he won't answer my questions. He keeps talking over me. He's refusing to answer like simple questions, which things that he should be answering. I got told by Chief Inspector Tim Brown that he would answer any questions that I had, which he didn't, and I could prove Tim Brown said that to me again. as well. So it did cause me severe distress. It's causing me stress talking about it. It's causing me stress proving these things. It's messing with my mental health. It's making me feel unwell. So still Scott Boast is having a detrimental effect on me. You stated Inspector Boast was trying to force numerous officers on your home, knowing it would affect your anxiety, as you previously had a conversation with him explaining how your anxiety surrounding the police and how you do not like having more than one person around me. On several occasions, you were forced to have other officers in your house, knowing that it would affect your mental health, and if you were threatened that if you did not allow this to happen, then the case would be closed, which you feel was a bullying decision. Well, this is actually true, because they're on the phone to me saying that if you're not going to let two of us in the house to obtain evidence, then we'll have to close the case. Now, I do have the phone calls. If people want me to start putting these phone calls on here, I will do. I am not being called a liar, and I am not being bullied like this. This is what Professional Standards has continuously covered up, and how they're lying. They're lying about me. They did say to me, if you don't let us come and view the evidence, we will close the case. And I said, well, you only want one of you. And then they would go, no, we have to have two of you. And that was a decision that Scott Boast made, knowing how I feel about being around people, knowing how the neighbours had made me feel, and knowing the agreement that Sean Pearson had made from day one to get Harry in the house originally to get anything off me. Now, it is bullying, and it is putting me under pressure, and it is affecting me. But yet again, the police don't care about the effect that they're having on me or what the neighbours are doing to me. And they clearly didn't want to deal with the neighbours, because they've sided with them from day one, even when they've watched evidence. And I've shown this evidence to people who know the law. Then the police have basically not acted appropriately regarding what they've seen. Now, if anyone else would have shown them this stuff and they were doing it to someone else, the police would have dealt with it, and I believe that to be 100% true. I believe I am being targeted because the police do not like me. The police have lied about me continuously, and I am going to prove it again and again and again in these videos, and these videos are not going to stop while the police keep doing this to me. The police have forced me into this position where now I have to stand up for myself and prove that I am not the liar, and